Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us.
Well, welcome back to Focus today. You know, if you tune in to the Dove TV Fridays at 8 p.m., you're going to see this guy, David Brody, and the Brody File, which I think is a far better title than what Stacklebeck has. And he's with us. Dave Brody, greetings.
Hey guys, how are you?
Why don't they just call his show Stacklebeck?
You know, that's a great, can I just tell you, Eric literally is somewhere in this office. I believe he's close by. I don't know, they should just call it Stacklebeck. Really, it's a phenomenal show, and he just needs to have, just one word says it all. I don't know why.
So.
Or the Stacklebeck File. I've been suggesting he change it to that.
Yeah, well, you know, the fact that you have three names in yours doesn't demean your show anymore. It's still a great one. But the question I have is, are you in a secure underground bunker?
hold on for 1 second. Yes, I'm secure.
Is that John Jessup behind you?
That is John Jessup.
Hey, there you go. Hey, I like the toy dolls behind you too, though. You're in a very strange place. I just want to point this out. Beautiful plumbing, though.
Well, thank you. It was designed by the CIA of all people. No, it wasn't designed by the CIA.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Well, I'll tell you what, we got some serious stuff going on right now. You know, I noticed over on the some of the news channels, Dianne Feinstein is talking about this CIA report that's come out, quite controversial. Why it is now, is she doing it as a last gasp while she still is in office? There's so many issues, and I want to talk about Ben Carson, so we've got two different topics here, but I really want to get into this. What is your take on what's happening on Capitol Hill with this CIA report that I think for most people, all of a sudden, this came out, this huge, 6,300-page report's going to come out, and it's going to really tear the CIA apart. What's your take on this?
Well, it is. It's definitely going to tear the CIA apart. Already the CIA pushing back this morning saying, hey, look, this is not the full story. And, of course, they're going to have their version here presumably a little bit later today. Look, there's a lot of politics involved in this. Obviously, newsflash, it's Washington. You know, Feinstein definitely going out and, you know, kind of in a blaze of glory here. This is her puppy, if you will, and so she's been working on this for years. So there's that element to it. But look, I mean, this basically says and plays into the Barack Obama narrative that he was pitching 6 years ago to the country about CIA and this whole thing with Guantanamo Bay. And so if anything, politically, this is going to help the president to a degree. And I hate to say it would help any party, because you know what's happening and what the CIA was doing obviously is a bone of contention for a lot of folks, and some people think it's not as bad as it really could have been. But look, this politically will help the president because it'll recast his narrative again that he's been talking about for years about the Bush administration. Anytime the president can deflect and go back to the Bush administration, they love it here in Washington.
Now, didn't some of these actions actually take place up through 2009 that they are criticizing?
Yes, that's true. Now, having said that, you know, there's an unclear element to this. What a shock! There's an unclear element as to how much was happening, or how much the Bush administration actually knew, and what the CIA was keeping from the Bush administration, or at least from the president himself, and also from President Obama as it relates to 2008, 2009. So it's a little bit murky at this point, though we're getting, as I'm looking up right now, we're getting this read to us to a degree, and we have to sift through it as well here on the Senate floor.
Let me ask you this. Feinstein was asked, hey, is the timing of this could cause American lives to be lost? And she said, no, I think it'll enlighten the world to realizing that we want to mend our ways and not cause this to be a problem. If there is some sort of violence, let's hope it doesn't happen, that occurs, though, should it, using this as a prop, would this come back on her?
Yeah, I think it would. I mean, I think it would come back on her, on the Democrats in the Senate, many of them, you know, the Chuck Schumers, the Dick Durbins, and of course, depending on what the president says, potentially the president as well. Sure, absolutely it would. And you would get the sense that there's going to be something worldwide after this report is read aloud to the world. And look, this has a powder keg element to it. I don't think there's any question about it.
All right, let's talk about Ben Carson, you had a chance to talk to him. You know, it's fascinating. I saw, and I wish I had it in front of me, there were 2 polls that had Ben Carson way near the top. He wasn't quite the top, but I think for a non-politician, this surprised a lot of people to see the names, and there were like 18, 20 names of people that were asked, who are the top Republicans? Some of them had hardly any percentage at all, but Ben was way up there at the top. Did this surprise you when you see him near the top of list of possible candidates for Republican for president?
It doesn't surprise me based on the fact of how the grassroots has taken to him. And what I mean by that is, like, he travels the country all the time. I mean, he's always traveling. He's always at some sort of event. And when he's at an event, he's getting standing ovations. And the word on the street, if you will, is that, you know, he is viable in terms of what he's saying. Now, is he viable politically? In other words, is he able to play the political game? And let's face it, there is a political game to be played. I think that's the unanswered question with Ben Carson. You know, it's interesting with Ben Carson, and look, he's going to run for president. I don't think there's any question about that at this point. It's just a matter of when he announces. But look, I mean, he's a political novice. And so that is attractive to a lot of folks. And at the same time, it could be a real big detriment to him as well, because, you know, like I said, you have to play the political game. You need to know when to stop talking. A lot of times, you know, he's not going to really know that, and he's going to have a little bit more of a steep learning curve, though you would think, hopefully, he'll pick it up pretty quickly. You never know. And so this is part of what he's going to have to learn. He's a very intriguing candidate, and I had a wonderful time with him at his home, him and his wife, in West Palm Beach, Florida. We spent about 4 hours or so with him, and I got to tell you, what you see is what you get. I mean, he is who he is, and he's plain-spoken. He's outspoken for sure, and he's going to say a lot of things that are going to ruffle a lot of feathers.
And I was going to ask you, I'm glad you talked a little bit about that, the guy that you saw before the cameras rolled and all the rest in that kind of a setting. What was your kind of takeaway with why he was even now at his life? How old is he? I don't even know.
He's 63. Wow. I think he just turned 63.
Okay, boy, he's a very youthful 63. I hadn't really thought of his age until I was just asking this now. But what caused him to kind of get involved in politics, since he's been a renowned doctor for quite some time?
Well, you know, it's interesting. He actually was, and by his own admission, a liberal Democrat back in the 70s. It was Ronald Reagan and, you know, we've heard this story before with Ronald Reagan, you know, how he changed so many hearts and minds. And that's what happened with Ben Carson. I think that was a big part of his metamorphosis, if you will, into politics. And I say into politics, into becoming more of a conservative. But he's really been an independent his whole life. He only became a Republican here in the last few months because he figured, well, he's not going to win any sort of presidency with being an independent.
Yeah.
And so this has kind of been his track. And look, I think what happened was he's always had a keen interest in the issues. And what he told me during the interview, which is what you're going to hear in just a couple of days as we unveil the interview, the whole thing, or more of it, I should say, is that he believes that God has lined his steps here to run for president. That he believes that being a world-famous neurosurgeon put him in the position to have the name recognition so people would pay attention to what he had to say and have the platform that he has today. So he believes it's all orchestrated by God, and it's fascinating to listen to him. There's so much. Part of the problem of writing this story, you know, it's about a 6-minute story. The problem is it could have been a 72-minute story. There's so much to include, but we'll put a lot of that up on the Brody File blog. And we actually, this week on the show, we're doing a whole 30-minute show devoted to Ben Carson. So you'll see him unplugged. Once again, the 700 Club version is only 6 minutes. On the Brody File show, you'll see 30 minutes and all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, we have about 30 seconds. Let me ask you, what do you think is the biggest hurdle he has to overcome? He has got to learn to play the game. He has got to learn to look more presidential. And what do I mean by that? Look at the screen. Here we go. Okay. This is Ben Carson. Here's my point. You can't close your eyes during an interview. The point is he needs polish. He needs more polish. People look at the polish. You know, it's not just about the issues. It's also about the polish. He needs to do that. If he can polish himself and get it all kind of morphed into one nice bowl of fruit.
Good. All right, the Brody File. David, thanks for being with us. Fridays at 8 p.m. You'll have that interview on. Join us for that. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
See ya.